OMG, it's another Talk on Tuesday. Coach, I see you. You
Hey,
ready?
and I stay ready, Val, the voice.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. All-Star Weekend, and also what I got a chance to see, which was the musical Lean on Me, based on the
Woo,
what? The
the
movie.
movie.
So we're going to be talking about that and a couple other things. So it is Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesday. Let's get going right now.
And I still grew to that track all day.
A lot of people love our theme song, man. Our theme song is by Kendall Nesbitt, and I'm really appreciative of that. Oh my gosh. So Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. We're here every Tuesday doing what we do. It's myself and Coach Tony. And of course, this episode is brought to you by what? It's called A DJ Saved My Life. Yeah, if you recognize that title, it sounds a little similar, but A DJ Saved My Life, that is the new ebook coming soon. It will be released on March 5th. Please, you see the QR code, go ahead and take a
Get you
picture.
a copy.
Get a copy. Go ahead and pick up a copy. A DJ Saved My Life. Much love and respect to my writing mentor, Miss Monique Lisa Johnson. And so go ahead and pick up the book, the ebook, A DJ Saved My Life, about how this particular podcast, Interludes Extra and Interludes that was started in 2020, saved my life during the what? The weirdness
COVID
of the
days.
pandemic.
Yes. And I
Oh
think,
my.
it's so funny, Val, that you wrote a book that a DJ
Mhm.
saved my life, and I got back to DJing. So basically, the DJ saved both of our lives.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And there you go, Mr. Springer. Thank you so very much for the welcome. And of course, I think we got CM doing double duty, which is
See
always
him doing
hilarious.
double duty. See him?
Oh my God, so good gracious. And of course, we want to let you guys know, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please do that if you haven't done so already. And then of course, hit the like and please share if you like what we're chit-chatting about, because today is going to be what I'm going to be talking about it. And of course, I always forget to mention, but I want to make sure that I do. We have a Patreon where you guys can come and share. I have some behind the scenes that happens. It is patreon.com/interludes. Join our community via Patreon today. And a lot of stuff is up there for free. But of course, the best place to catch everything is on Tuesdays on Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. My goodness. So did you know that there is a Broadway in Chicago on 47th and King Drive, my brother?
No, I knew there was a Broadway downtown. There's a street.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that. And thank you so very much, Mr. Springer, for getting that in the chat. Oh my goodness. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
so you got a Broadway in Bronzeville. So think about the B&B.
the B and I like that, the B and B. And of course, if you guys remember the movie Lean on Me, that I think that was released back in 1980.
78, 79.
89. No, you went back 10 years. It's in the late 80s. I believe it was released in 89. You're too funny.
Okay. Yeah. You know what?
And of,
I'm thinking
mhm,
about Cochise and my boys. That's right. I'm thinking about them.
of course, of course. And if you guys remember the movie, it was Morgan
Crazy
Freeman. You
Joe.
see Joe. Yeah, you see Crazy Joe. That's Joe Clark. I think we lost him a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But of course, it was based on his teaching at Eastside High and how he revolutionized the entire of the of things, and we were like, oh my goodness, what is going on with it?
Right.
And of
Now we
course,
didn't sing a school song.
oh my gosh. And I got to get that queued up. I didn't get a chance to get that queued up, but I'm going to see if I can get it queued up now. But yes, so we had a very talented. Now, Dorothy Tillman was a very famous, I want to call it alderwoman here in Chicago. And her daughter now is the Harold Washington Cultural Center. She is over that particular theater and cultural center. Her name is Jamelita Tillman, and she is a
Okay.
producer, writer, and director of this Lean on Me. And I got a chance to check it out. I was like, okay. My cousin invited me. He was the music director, and there are a few of the cast members. Oh wait, this thing is going a little too fast. Go back to the cast members. Here we go. Oh my gosh. But I have to say, with the people that were there, Arthur Barnes Jr. played Joe Clark. He did an excellent job. Brittany Rideau played Tiffany. And what they did was they had like a reunion, and then they did a couple of reenactment of the most famous scenes from the movie. And
Yeah.
so the gentleman I just mentioned, excellent job. Arthur Barnes Jr. He plays Joe Clark. And then of course, who else? Dana Kemp as Clarence. Courtney Moses as Kanisha. And oh my goodness, it was just a bunch of great, and I'm talking young, talented situation. Now, right there in the red, you see her, Jamalita. She gathered everybody at the beginning of the show and started to do a prayer. And I was like, okay, and it was her birthday on Sunday, so that was fun.
Okay. Okay. So you're working on her birthday. I see you.
And our music producer, that is Mr. Kendall Nesbitt. He's there with his 18-year-old son. They sounded like a full band with just keyboards.
Wow. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm sitting up here like I looked over and I'm like, is that a full band situation laid out? And it sure was. Oh my.
And you're talking about Val Lean on Me, which is not the
Mm-hmm.
easiest movie to put into a musical, right? Because
It is
if
not.
you go back, it wasn't a lot of singing in this movie. It was
Mm-hmm.
based on this principal that was sent to this high school in the hood, right? South side, west side, to clean it
Mm-hmm.
up. And it was basically he came in with a Malcolm X mentality by any means necessary.
He was not taking it. He was not taking it. Oh my gosh. Thank you,
That was good.
Alejandro. Yeah, I mean, I was sitting up here like, I cannot believe that, all of this was happening. And just, I'm sitting here going, this is phenomenal. And the thing of it is that, let me go ahead and see if I could um, show a little bit of a clip of my 18-year-old cousin, the son of Kendall Nesbitt, just kind of jamming on the music here. Let me just see if I can show it real quick. Let me see. Here we go. I'm hearing it, but let me play it here. So, so we're talking in the background, but he's literally playing the drums with the keyboard. I was like,
Oh,
I
wow.
cannot believe that. How are you able to play the drums with the keyboard? Like he
That technology.
programmed the keyboard. That technology is gangster. That's what I'm talking about.
Yo,
Yeah. Hey. I'm like, I cannot believe it. So yeah, so much love and much talent, and of course, like I said, our own producer. That music that you hear for interludes, that's my very very talented cousin Kendall Nesbitt, and being able to work with your kids, it's a blessing. His son
oh,
just
yes.
turned 18, and
Tell
so
my,
they
tell my
so
son that
very
all the
talented.
time. Tell my son that
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Just to be in a situation, I'm in his sports field, and he's coming through school to get out and just to work with him, man. It just, because the man does that all the time. We don't do that enough.
I know. And here's the thing, I did not know this was I find this hilarious. I think at both shows, uh let's see, Jimalita, she bragged on her daughter. Now, this is her pictured with her
Okay.
daughter. Dorothy the second. And oh gosh, she is only 17 and she is going to be getting her doctorate degree
Oh my
very
goodness.
soon. I'm like at age, and she had her break it down. I was like, what happened at this age? What happened at that age? And I'm like, and she said, yes, I produced this. This is my child. And I said, that's what I'm talking about. Brag on your kids. Come
Yes,
on, come on.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean,
Hmm.
but again, that's a proud mom, and she's got something to be proud for, and
Hmm.
for her child to get an opportunity to have that type of intellect now, and then be able
Hmm.
to say, hey, I'm in the moment now, and by the way, by the time I turn 21, I got all the doctorates I need.
Yeah, and the great thing is they also had a couple of people there from Black Enterprise, who was kind of magazine, who was kind of reviewing it, and then of course they have sponsors for the play. But I'm telling you, Jamalita was around there, and she was like, "Okay, where your money? I need you to pay. Please go over here and take care of it." She was taking money. She was
Oh
directing
wow.
people to their seats, and on Sunday, the entire first floor just about sold out.
Oh man,
Just about
but
sold out. Mhm.
look at that picture, Val. I know we talking about BET, but don't that look like a jet picture?
It do it does. Oh my
For
god.
those, for those young people that's listening don't know that Jet Magazine, owned by BET back in the day, was
Mhm.
a small publication that was probably no more than about 6 inches tall, 4 inches wide, that portrayed a lot of the African Americans' promiscuity and what we were doing in our neighborhoods, from beauty queens to pageants to whatever. And they had photos like this, and they had a Jet Magazine swimsuit issue, the beauty of the week. Oh man, girl, I should get there. I'll be stuck in like this. Oh my goodness, what is
But I'm telling you, she did an excellent job portraying Kanisha. That was the Karen Molina White character who got
okay? I was about
pregnant
to ask you which one.
in the lean on me situation. And so she is very they had
That's
her
the one
as
that hung out with Sam all the time, right?
exactly. She always
Yeah.
hung out with Sam's. And so I was just really excited about that. So now I see who this is. So this is April, Grand Rising. Good to see you, of course. And I see, oh, this is Robin. Good to see you. I had to kind of sign
What's up,
on to
Robin?
Facebook.
What's up, Robin?
Robin and April are on. Thank you so very
April,
much.
my girl. What's up, April?
So yeah, so being proud of your offspring, and then actually having her being highlighted in this musical. They had a limited run. I think they went from the 15th to this past Sunday, and I asked them, please, pretty please, with sugar on top, could you come and let me know when you're going to come back and do this? So this
So
was
let me
such
ask
a
you a question on that, Val.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, so as we just said, we're talking about Lean on Me.
Mhm.
We're talking about Crazy Joe in a school out of Baltimore, Maryland. That
Mhm.
wasn't the easiest at the time, and is at the time that unfortunately Mayor Barry wasn't doing very nice things and got caught up. So the musical,
Mhm.
you mentioned that they pull certain major scenes out. So was it a situation where you go to this musical and from the beginning it was easy to follow along, or was it where your cousin that maybe played a musical stint and then they did the reenact that particular scene?
What was really cool about what they did, and this was what I noticed and remarked about it, was that they took the most famous scenes and reenacted it. And what happened was they had one side of the stage where it was the reunion. They people were sitting around the table and they were talking about all these things that happened back in 1987, back when East Side High was being transformed. And then of course on the right side of the stage was all the reenactment of whatever. And so they did. You remember the rock song "Welcome to the Jungle"?
Oh, yeah,
They did a
welcome to
whole
the jungle.
jungle. They did a whole dance move on that. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. And Robin says that she loved the Lean On Me movie. I'm telling you,
Oh, yeah,
this
for
was such
sure.
an iconic movie. Hmm.
If you didn't watch Lean on Me movie, then cut us off right now.
But like I said, these kids did such a talented, a great job in reenacting. They reenacted the roof scene where Joe Clark
Yeah.
grabbed Sam's and was like, "Look, just go ahead and jump." And he was like, "No, I don't want to." He was
Yeah,
like,
what's
"What are
up?
you doing? You smoking crack?"
You trying to end it? Go ahead and jump. Show me what you made of.
So cleaned up the language a little bit, but they was like, you know what it does? It now in the movie it says it kills your brain cells. It kills your
Right.
brain cells. You're doing, you gonna kill
Hey,
yourself. Don't mess
now,
around. Just jump.
now I'm gonna give you mine. But what is probably one of your most famous scenes out of that movie?
Okay, one of the most famous scenes out of the movie was when oh, I think it was when Lynn Thigpen, she was the mother who was angry that her kid was kicked out, and it was toward the end, and she was like,
Right.
we're gonna get rid of you. And then he finally comes, he emerges. Oh no, I'm so sorry. It is the one with Robert Guillaume. Robert Guillaume is from Benson, and
Yes.
he played Frank Napier. And so they talk, and he was like, "What did you do?" And this is a scene they reenacted. Here's the two actors that reenacted that scene. Oh my goodness! And so, so he says, contrary to popular belief, I am the head Negro in charge.
Right. Yeah. But if you use the other word, but N-I, and I was H-N-I.
Oh my gosh. And the question from Robin is Joe Clark still living? I believe he is unfortunately passed away. I
Yeah, I think
remember
it's
they did a
that.
big deal about it. So yeah, but Morgan Freeman still around.
Oh yeah, Morgan stood around, and one of my favorite scenes, my favorite scene, of course, is the bathroom
Mhm.
scene. He told Sam to get up. Since y'all want to be up there doing it, let's go. Let's smoke. Let's sing this song. I want you in front of the school tomorrow, Sam. You gonna sing this
Oh.
song? But my favorite thing is when he came in the office and he fired everybody, and then they're like, "You can't do
Ooh.
this." I'm calling down to the board. He picked the phone up. Let me call down to the board for you. But by 3:30, Miss London, I want your stuff on my desk with your resignation letter. You out of here. And she called me crazy. He said, I may be crazy, but Crazy Joe, what they gonna call me? And he when he chained all the doors up.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
Wait, go
a
close the
teacher
doors.
like that today, we would
Mhm.
love it. But a teacher like that today would be sitting in a court of law.
I know, very much so. And that's my cousin Janice. She's excited. That's her nephew and grandnephew. She's very proud, as all of us are, because when my cousin invited me, and on Sunday, this is all family that you see in the
Okay,
picture. So
I see, I see.
that's the young KJ. So 18 years old, working alongside of his dad. That's his beautiful wife, Tiffany. And she's the other fabulous mom to KJ. And of course, our cousin on the Royster side, other people would know what that is. That's Deborah Ellis. She had over 10 people in her party, and Miss Tillman invited her to be a part of the VIP. I was so excited on Sunday when I saw her, and so she was
That's
like, "It's
really
so
nice.
good to see you." So it was felt like a reunion a little bit.
I'm more, I'm more pumped up than anything because, of course, the people that's on air with us really don't know Chicago. Some of those that do, you'd have never
Mhm.
did something like this back in Bronzeville back in the day. So
No.
to see
Mhm.
them clean up, Bronzeville and clean up 47th and down to 43rd, the whole 9 yards up to Washington Park, it is absolutely phenomenal. And then to bring something like this back in the city, because she could have easily done this probably downtown, easy. But
Exactly.
to bring it back out, out to Bronzeville / Hyde Park, dope.
And here's the thing. She said that she's been doing this for over 20 years. Her sister, I met her sister. Her sister works alongside of her as well. And so we're hoping to go ahead and have Jamelita on eventually to talk about what she's doing to help young people discover their acting talent in Broadway shows or plays. And she says she's taking Lean on Me on the road. So this was fun to check out, and it's local.
And of
Local.
course,
So
the
mhm.
song "Lean on Me" when
Mhm, and they
that
ended
was
with
dope.
that. Oh, they ended with that song.
Oh
Yes.
man, when you got something to carry on, man, don't worry about your troubles. I'm telling you, That was it. That song, and it was so funny because that song ended up, to me, it was more of like a reggae stylist, song when they put it out. But that song ended up going up on the charts because of that movie.
Very much so. Very much so. And I think originally recorded by Bill Withers.
Yep.
Lean on Me, I believe. And of course, someone, okay, Robin, she's a singer. Oh, Coach Tony, if you've never heard Robin sing, Robin can sing. Good
Hey,
Lord.
Robin, let's get it. Let's get it, Robin. I need to get
Ooh,
podcast.
Robin can sing. So all I know is that this was such a great turnout and everything. And so I was just really excited to just see number one, my family there, but then on top of that, just embracing seeing young people from ages, I mean, as young as 8 and 9 years old to in their teens and just really there. So I was just astonished and amazed. And so I was like, oh my gosh. But of course, to more popular situations, and I'm looking for the picture, but I don't quite see it yet. But I got a chance to see a little bit of the People's Choice Awards. I see that my thing didn't refresh. Lenny Kravitz was honored on there as a music icon. And
They
so
keep talking
that
about
was
that.
good
He
to
had a
see
lot to
that.
say too.
He sure did. He pretty much did like a whole breakdown of saying that I didn't want to be placed in a box. I don't care who they were trying to place me in R&B. They were trying to place me in
And
rock. They
rock.
didn't quite
Yeah.
know what to do with me. And so he was kind of encouraging. And see, the People's Choice Awards is for the young people.
Fan.
It's literally, I want to see it skews long. It's for our kids, coach. It's for our kids.
The fan, that's the show that the fan vote in all the awards. So
Mhm.
you may or may not like the person that's about to get the award, but it don't matter if it was more than you that voted. And if you didn't like it and didn't vote, it's like going for the president. Don't be complaining.
Oh my gosh. And all I'm saying is that it was just important. I feel like for him, and I think one of the new artists, I think Money Love, I think she was the one that did the
Yeah, money love.
presentation. Yeah, she did the presentation for it. And so it was just really good to see him, and he performed. Usually I find it hilarious when you get an honor and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, can you also perform too?"
Right.
I finally
Right.
I finally got up the pictures. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so Lenny Kravitz is one of my favorite artists. When I was at North Central College, I got a chance, back then it was album oriented rock. So I was playing anybody that looked like me on WONC. So folks
Oh
from
yeah. And
Naperville
he's
will know
still
what I'm
wearing the
talking
leather pants too.
exactly, exactly. This man is knocking on the door of 60, but I'm looking like, what? Huh? Huh? Huh?
Yeah. And he about 5'5" wearing boots like Prince.
Oh my gosh. Well, he did like a medley of his songs, but it was good to just go ahead and see him. And I mean, tatted out. He looks just as, and he has some new music video out where he ain't pretty much got a lot of clothes on. I was like, oh my Lord.
I don't know about that one. I ain't seen that
I
one.
don't know about that one either, but my
I ain't.
goodness, he had
Eddie Murphy said I ain't seen it.
so yeah, so I feel like with his career, and if he wanted to talk, I think his acceptance speech was anywhere from like 3 to like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, I saw the young people, and in the crowd, the Little Mermaid star was listening in, and she was just looking like she was hanging on to every word. Haley Bailey, she was, she was in the audience, and
But you
so
like what he had to say about it because you got to think about it. About this man has been a music icon not for years but for decades, and
yeah. Hmm.
you sit up and you say, and if people don't know, he comes out of the Jefferson's product. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh, Ronnie Roxer was his
but,
mom. Yeah.
but don't remember that Roxy from the Jefferson, that was his mama. So,
Mhm.
and they were married in real life, but played the characters on the Jefferson. So this kid has not been in a situation where he's had a lot of wanting to do, but he fell off and decided to not go acting, I think in the late 70s, early 80s, and kind of like form that thing. Because when he originally came out, I remember back in that late 80s, early 90s, he was hard rock. I mean, that dude,
Yes.
he was, hey, but then he
Mhm.
started toning a little bit of it down because I remember when he first kind of hit the scenes, I was getting confused between him and Maxwell. Just on the look and the appearance, not so much of the music.
Yeah, and
Right.
I think Lenny was out long before Maxwell. I feel like
So
Maxwell didn't hit till
definitely
'95, and
right.
then Lenny
He
was
was out
out like
in the 80s, late
91.
80s, late 80s, early
Yeah.
90s. He was out,
Mhm.
and he's always
Yeah.
been like you say that rock and roll. His favorite singer is Bruce Springsteen, so I get it. And then just think, we're fast forwarding some 30, 35 years forward, and the man still look like he's shit still sitting in '89.
Yeah, yeah, and and thank you so much for that, Robin. That's right. That and here's the thing: he did a beautiful song. I can't think of the name of it, where he honored his mom, and then it was like he put it out there that this was my mom, and he said in his acceptance speech on Sunday at the People's Choice Awards, I want to thank my parents for not leaving me at home and taking me to some of these concerts and things where he
Right.
was exposed to all of that type of stuff. So you know.
And you had to go back in the day, like you said. You mentioned this the other day,
Mhm.
just we were talking on the pull up, and you're like, hey, coach, this was during these days that we had to physically go down to the record shop and buy an album, buy a tape or a CD when CDs came about, and you had to go to the concerts to listen to the artist. You didn't get an opportunity to sit home where you can put on YouTube and play the whole like I saw Usher at the Super Bowl, but said I listened to Usher's whole album the last couple of days. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't
Right.
do that back in the day. You got the one record that the artist says released on the radio, and unless you went down to the radio or the record shop and bought the whole album.
Exactly. Exactly. And so I think Lenny is a part of definitely the historic, I want to call it, music of rock, of punk, of soul, of all of this. And I'm grateful that he did not allow the record companies or the A&R or however they wanted to go and try to place him in the box. And so when he performs, he sounds exactly like he did 20 or 30 years ago when he first started. And
Yep.
like I said, those young people at the People's Choice Awards, they were hanging on every single word. I was thinking, that is a little long, but
That's
I was like,
good.
wait a
Now,
minute.
do you remember this song back in the day? We built this city on rock and roll.
Yeah, I remember that. We built
We built
this
this
city
city
on
on rock
again.
and roll. Well, Lenny Kravitz was supposed to had done that song, but
Oh, I
because
didn't know
of
that.
some of the music he was working on and whatnot, decided not to do it. And I always wonder if it's one of those songs that he regret. You know, how the artists say, I should have grabbed that when I had an opportunity, but I didn't,
Mhm.
and let it go. But I like him. He's still performing, and I love it. Still, and he's not only performing, he's performing at a high rate still. Some of these artists get older, they're sitting behind a piano in a chair because they really can't do it. He's still out there doing it.
He has a six pack, Coach Tony. So I'm sitting up here like I don't
I
50
got a
who?
I got a 12
50
pack
what?
of Heineken.
Oh my gosh. Another standout for Sunday's People's Choice performance. America Fiera, she ended up getting Best Actress, and that's for her performance in the Barbie movie. Standing next to her is Billie Eilish, and
Okay.
these two women are nominated for Best Oscar Original Song for Barbie, and she's also nominated in the Best Supporting Actress. So People's Choice, they love Barbie. So,
So let
like
me
I
ask you
said,
a question on that.
mhm, mhm.
So all these awards, the Grammys, the Emmys, and everything else that overlooked this movie, right? Except for Ken, which is insane. Because how the hell are you gonna give Ken an award and Barbie is a showstopper, right? So I get it. So now you get to the People's Choice Awards when the people got mad. Do you think, as a journalist, and you're doing the research and the background and this stuff, what do you think, or what's your opinion about because of the Barbie movie missed out on so many prior awards this year that obviously the People's Choice Awards was going to pick them up because now it's in the hands of the people that's looking at these movies.
And here's the thing. It's, I guess, about breaking the stereotype of thinking it's just a movie about a doll and kind of
Right.
reducing it down to a box. And I have to admit this to everyone, when Barbie came out, I absolutely had no interest in seeing it. And when I finally saw it a couple of weeks ago, Coach Tony, I was crying in parts, and I was like, why am I crying? Because it was such a strong message that resonated. And so here's the thing. Margot Robbie, who's the producer, and she plays the lead actress in Barbie. She plays the number one Barbie. And then of course, just it they're doing the rounds. Critic Choice Awards is happening, coming this weekend is the SAG Actors Awards, so they'll be doing that. So it's a matter of it doing the rounds. But I think if people just kind of, like with Lenny Kravitz, don't put a movie or put these things in the box and just make this assumption, oh, it's going to be like that. Like I said, I was totally transformed by watching Barbie, and I was like, oh, I see the message that they're trying to put.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, Amara Fiera, the monologue she has in that movie, I know that's what got her nominated, because she literally broke down how women are trying to be everything to everybody.
Sure.
And if you ever see it, I'm sitting there going, that's right. I want to be this. I want to be that. So,
But it was a great subliminal message. And the crazy part about it is it wasn't hard to remember people's name, because every freaking woman was named Barbie and every man was Ken.
Barbie.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like you got to remember a lot, but the way that they put it out, the way that it was, she didn't have human parts, obviously. But she was smart enough to know that Mattel was using her, right? She was smart
Mhm.
enough to know that. She was smart enough to understand that she was basically built on a dream. And this person that she came alive, even though this lady had a daughter, it was her dream. So she had to figure it out. So, it was a great storyline at the end of the day. But you
Mhm.
figure, wait a minute. So who missed the boat in terms of giving out an award here?
So here's the thing. I don't know what's going to happen via the SAG. That's coming up, and usually that's the actors voting for other actors. Hopefully they'll get it right then. Golden Globe, they nominated them, but I don't know. I forgot. I'm trying to remember if Amara won for a Golden Globe, but I'm not sure. But the great thing is that it's coming now to some of the award shows where it's the people that's either
Yeah.
in the industry or us. We're voting. Like, I have a ballot for the NAACP Image Awards, so I'm
Oh,
waiting to turn in my ballot for that.
are they
So
still
I'll be sending
so
that
they
in.
still doing that? They still doing that downtown at McCormick?
The NAACP Awards is not going to be here. It's going to be in a different city. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm really excited about what that's going to be. And
Yes.
and yeah, and here's Robin. She says that's what it was about. I wasn't interested either. I might look at it now. Is it on Netflix? It's actually, I think, streaming on.
It's on Netflix. It's either Netflix or Paramount.
It's either Netflix or Paramount, but I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it's a different one. Oh my gosh. And I have to say, I got to find out if we can show trailers, because I saw the recent Netflix trailer for the Shirley Chisholm movie starring Regina King. We'll talk about that next week, but it,
Oh
it, it
yeah,
looks
yeah, yeah.
phenomenal. I'm really excited. But
Yeah, that's a deep Black history moment.
I can't. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Oh my gosh. But let's travel to Indianapolis. Oh my goodness.
Get the
What
nap down,
happened?
baby.
What happened with the All Stars, coach?
Get the nap down. Well, first of all, let me clear some couple of things up before some people start sending me messages here. You know, this I talked to a guy today. The All Star, the NBA All Star Val, has become Walt Disney World of Florida.
Uh,
Now, let me explain myself.
oh my goodness.
The All Star game used
I
to
used
be
to be.
the
Mm-hmm.
80s, early 90s ish, into the early 2000s. But these guys went to the All Star game with the best of the best, and they physically played. They got paid, but they were trying to beat each other's brains out as though it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting that anymore. So, you know, this NBA All Star, to me, the best part about the weekend, to me, hands down, and I want to hear some people's comment, wasn't the game. It wasn't the dunk contest.
Well,
The
what was it?
skills competition was okay. To me, the night rested on the 3-point shooting contest and those two right there, Sabrina versus Steph, WNBA versus NBA. And let me clear my throat. For promotional purposes only, if those had listened to me, I said Sabrina was going to win, but she
Mm-hmm.
got close. She ended up losing by 3. But the
Oh.
cool part about that, Val, was she said some very important things that you have to listen to in her interview.
Mm-hmm.
One, they tried to slam her about why didn't you just shoot from the WNBA line, which would basically be the men's college basketball line. And
Okay.
the NBA line is only about 8 to 10 inches, from there. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, when you're a shooter, you don't step on the line anyway. You're usually a
Wow.
few feet back. So shooters shoot. So at the end of the day, she gave it her best. And this young lady knocked down 26 balls, Val. And it
What?
took Steph Curry to the last rack to catch her. I thought it was upset. He missed the first 2 balls in the last rack, and he got the last 3 balls and then the money ball to win it. So it wasn't an easy competition at all. But you know what I like what Steph said? He
Mm-hmm.
walked off the court when he gave her a hug, and he said, this is a part of the All-Star weekend that we must bring back. And next year, we need to get somebody else, which is the picture you just shown, Caitlin Clark. She's coming, and
She's
she is
coming.
going to be the next Steph Curry of the WNBA. Put your money on it.
Oh. And here's a we're coming up on, I want to call it March Madness. So this is coming up.
That's
So definitely the NCAA on the women's and the men's side is coming up. What makes Clark Brooks so special right now?
Well, right now, the biggest thing, Val, is, she just hit over 3,500 points to not go past Kelsey Plum on the women's side of the house. Drop the camera. On the women's side of the house, she just went by Kelsey Plum to surpass her to get the all-time leading scorer for Division One women, and she's only behind my guy, Coach Mike Davis at University of Detroit Mercer, his son, and also none other than Pistol Pete Merrick, who played at Louisiana back in the day. Now, she has
Wow.
5 games to get it done to score 200 points. She's averaging over 30. So you do the numbers, 36 nights. It's going to take her to that 4th game. It's going to be close for her catching Pete Merrick, but I guarantee you the next
Wow.
12 days is going to be all about Caitlin Clark. And if you have not seen this young lady play and you're not watching basketball, then you're not a sports fan. Because this young
Wow.
lady is exciting. And the crazy part about it, Val, for those that maybe hate, I'll throw some haterade on it. She's also averaging double figures in rebound and giving up 7, 8 assists. So it ain't like she's shooting all the balls. She's also distributing the ball and rebounding for Iowa.
Wow.
Now, if you
Wow.
want
So
to put your for promotional purposes only
here we
before
go.
the tournament start, and I'm gonna tell you, if
Mhm.
if
If
Iowa is opposite of my girl Dawn Staley at University of South Carolina, if the two of these teams are opposite when the tournament draw comes down, then you will see a University of Iowa versus South Carolina women's national championship game. Take it from Coach Tony.
Ooh, oh my goodness. That's exciting. That's exciting. I mean, like, and here's the thing, Women's History Month is March. I'm so excited to definitely give a shout out about that. And of course, I see in the chat, Robin says March is my birthday month. So March is special for other reasons. Woo, woo,
So
birthday.
Robin, you got an expensive birthday month because little do you know, Robin, that March Madness is the most bet on sport of any of the sports, NFL, NBA, anything. The March Madness run to the NCAA title is the most bet on sport in Vegas than any other sport throughout the year.
I did not know that. I had no
And
clue. Hmm.
and I'm gonna tell you right now, Val, when we talk in the next week or so, when we start to come up to the tournament, I'm gonna give you some long shots because on the men's side of the house this year, we have got not one, not four, not
Mm-mm.
eight, not even 12, but we got possibly 16 solid teams that could win the national championship. That is not happening in NCAA basketball. They said in over 30 years that the top 16 teams could have a chance at the shot. Most of the time, it's Kentucky going in, or it's Kansas or Michigan State or Duke or whomever it is. But this year, those teams are not the favorite. Most of those teams I mentioned to you, Val, they're ranked late 9, 10, 11, and some of those guys are ranked almost in the mid 15s, almost 20. So the NCAA tournament is going to be absolutely exciting this year.
Wow, wow. And everything gets started, I'm assuming, toward like next week? Because
No,
next week is
about
March.
3 weeks from now, about March 15th, 16th, everything will get started.
Okay.
You'll know when they start because people are going to be calling in sick from work.
Oh my
I got
gosh.
a headache today. I can't make it in. And they're going to be on the couch doing
Oh.
like this.
Oh my gosh. And it looks like UConn is still number one
Now,
right now. And
UConn
then
is playing great ball in the Big East. They, of course, play our beloved DePaul Blue Demons. They're in the same conference
mhm.
with DePaul. They just beat DePaul the other day like they stole something. And and UConn is going to have a unique situation because they were an eighth seed last year who went on to win a national championship game. And the question is, can they repeat? Now, English, they got the big man right there. I love Purdue. Me, I'm a Big Ten guy all day, every day. But I would
Right.
love to see, and once again, I'll do some homework as we get close and give you my thoughts once I find out, which directions the teams are going to be paired. But I would love to see UConn go back and they play against Purdue. I think the two big mans and the dominating guards will be phenomenal to see. But my long shot dark horse before the tournament even starts is my guy, Coach Kevin Sampson down at University of Houston. I think Houston is playing phenomenal. They play tremendous defense. And if you haven't seen Houston play, I'm telling you, turn the TV on these next few weeks.
So yeah, so whomever your favorite college ball, b-ball people are on the women's or the men's side, Coach Tony is definitely going to be sharing about that, and definitely on the Pull Up Podcast, we have had some great guests.
Oh, man.
Last night, you had on
Added
one
Medina.
who was at America University, uh,
Yes.
Patty Medina. She was a great
Added
guest on last night.
great
Yeah.
guest. Still getting calls, still getting texts a day. I got one of my. I tell you, Val is going very well. I got one of the biggest compliments today. Actually, two.
Oh.
One of the professors at the university reached out and saw the show for the first time last night. Said he was absolutely wild about the guests, the conversation. He was there the entire time. And then one of my buddies told me he shared it with his dad, and his dad sit and watched the interview and loved it so much that he Googled the other interview and watched right behind that, he watched the Blaine Bishop interview. So, if you guys are not tuning in to me, myself, the most hostess with the mostest, Coach Tony on Monday nights, checking out the Pull Up Podcast show. Make sure Monday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time, you got to get on the show, throw some questions out. My boy Mark is there every week. Mark, I love you. Pod
Mhm.
TV, he's doing his thing for me. But the Pull Up Podcast show, we coming, baby. We coming.
And Robin is wishing you congratulations, Coach. And
Thanks, y'all.
definitely, Robin's giving you love right there. And of course, Queen April has always been extremely supportive. And of course, one of your favorites is here. Lakeisha said a hi to you a little bit earlier.
Keisha, what's up? I didn't see that. How you doing, girl?
Oh my gosh. But yes, please join us on Monday evenings with when we can have wonderful guests talk b-ball, basketball, and a couple of other sports. Pull up in the four quarters that happen in the hour on Monday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. It is the Pull Up Podcast with yours truly, Coach Tony. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that, Kevin, Mr. Springer. Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, this has been fun. Now, the what I wanted to do today was to review the new movie One Love that is on Bob Marley. That's happening next week. That is
They said
happening
that
next.
movie is it just went like off the charts, like the numbers are through the roof on the movie.
It did very well. It came in
I
number
love
one.
his son was at the what was it the Emmys or the Grammys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was
The Grammys. He was at the Grammys with
the guy.
Kingsley
Yeah, the guy
Benair,
that
the
plays the
gentleman
character in the
who
movie. Yes.
right. And oh my gosh, Lashana Lynch plays the mother, plays the wife, and she, oh my gosh, I saw a scene from the movie. She was on the Tamara Hall show, and I saw a scene from the movie. I'm like, I gotta get in the theater to see this. So One Love, we'll be reviewing that movie on next week. And like I said, I was so happy to see and support our local Lean on Me. And so much love to my cousin. Thank you so very much for the invite for that. And like I said, it is wonderful and wonderful and wonderful. So
I'm
pull
gonna
up.
need you to take that book and drive over to the west side and put it on the Madhouse on Madison. I'm wearing this outfit tonight. For those that don't get it, it's the Chicago Bulls, baby, represent that West Side Madhouse. But I was so mad, Val, because we did not have one representation in the All-Star game.
We did.
Now,
Oh
no. Now,
no.
they complained about, Damon Dollar Bill Lillard. He won the All-Star game MVP.
Okay.
Had 39 points, shot a lot of threes. And I read a comment some guy put in the article about the NBA All-Star game has become a waste of time. So I know I want to ask our listeners that's out there, for those that did see the All-Star game, do you think it was a waste of time? Were you energized about it, or were you not? Now, the comment I made earlier, Val, about it's become the Disney World of Orlando, the reason why I say that is we expected these teams to come and play hard against one another. We know that, but they didn't. So Team Giannis won. He beat, LeBron's team this year and hosted the trophy again. But, they scored 211 points, Val,
Oh my
211.
gosh.
And the team that lost had 186. So both teams broke the high record for NBA. So, if you score 211 points, no one's playing defense. It was basically catch the ball, whoever get it, shoot it. And it was who can outshoot who. But let me explain it to you like this. I was telling the gentleman today that was in my ear and I almost had to choke him. And that was, you got these kids now, right? And we know that we're in a different society where social media runs everything than what we do. And the kids are not going to sit through a 48-minute NBA game of a bunch of all-stars going up and down seriousness. Plus, the
Wow.
agents are saying you can't get hurt because if you get hurt, my money get hurt, right? So we can't do that. So you can't hurt my money. So what they basically have done with the All-Star game is it's become a showcase of dunks, three-point shooting, trick shot, things of that nature. So now the NBA has basically put on a great show to bring the kids. So if you want to go to the All-Star weekend, it's okay now to bring the kids because it used to be the kids were the adults who worried about the after party. And now you take your kids and you party. So in my opinion, the All-Star game should be Friday night, Val. You know why? Because Friday night is the rookies versus the sophomores. And these guys have not been chosen to be part of the All-Star game yet, right? Because they're still matriculating.
Right,
So
right.
these guys are still serious because they're trying to prove themselves. So why not just call it the All-Star weekend? We'll call the NBA Sunday night game the entertainment game but the physical All-Star game is Friday, and you can move it from Friday to Saturday, and move the 3-point shooting and dunk contest to Friday night because it's a waste of time. We know that, and now you're okay.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I guess it's because it's a tradition.
Yes.
And what was the NBA thing that they did in December where there was like a tournament and then they were
So
starting to come together for that?
So
Yeah.
that become a bigger than this. You've
Ah.
seen guys that were physically serious. So that's
Mhm.
what they call the NBA has again. Once again, I just mentioned it a moment ago about the NCAA. We just talked about it. The
Mhm.
NBA has seen how the NCAA has made so much money off this March Madness. They decided to do what they call an in-season tournament, where
Mhm.
I love how they did it because there's only 32 teams in the NBA. So 16 over here, 16 over there. So each conference is represented by 8 teams. And
Right.
so you just play within your conference, and the best team within your conference after the fourth game went to the Final Four, and then those teams end up in what they call an in-season tournament. Now,
Tournament,
the
right.
good thing about it, winning team won $500,000. So they put the money in the middle of the season. So obviously those guys are going to play hard because who doesn't want to get paid? And
Exactly.
it
Mhm.
made for some free Christmas money. So a couple of wives and girlfriends got some good gifts.
And the basketball season is long. What is that? 82 games or a little bit
82
more?
games on college
82
and
games.
about 40 games I mean, 82 games in the pros and about 40 games on college, 42 in college if you make it all the way.
Oh my gosh. And to wrap up, and this was the question as we wrap up, oh my gosh. Our favorite movies that featured basketball. I'm
There you go.
asking the chat. I'm asking the chat, and I'll ask Kevin to go ahead and ask the chat. Like, if you had a favorite basketball based movie, which one would it be? I am
I want to hear what
curious
the
to ask
chat
that
had to say
question.
before I tell you mine. I'm gonna go last.
You gonna go last?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like playing in the spades right now. Hey, what you got? What you know how you play spades, you be cheating with Val. I tell you
Uh-huh.
what, I'm going to the club tonight. Going to the club.
Going to the club. Da, 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 da.
All right,
So
but
yeah, so
quick thoughts that thing.
here we're also streaming on Clubhouse. So in the chat, if you could place your very favorite film that features basketball. Thank you so very much, Mr. Springer, for putting that up. If you had a favorite basketball movie, which one will it be? One of my favorites. I don't know if you can see this. This is Sunset Park. You guys remember
Oh yeah, I
that?
remember Sunset Park. Yeah,
Yeah. That was a
yeah.
very that was a very young, I want to say a young Terrence Howard that started it. Tupac had some tracks on there, Ghostface Killer and Adina Howard, Big Mike. But of course, my all-time favorite is this one, Love and Basketball. I
See
mean,
that
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 is
that
my
got, that got a
favorite.
lot. I asked that question yesterday when I got this before I sent it to you, and that probably came back to me the majority. And I'm gonna disappoint some people, but that's not mine. Even though I did like that, Omar had a great role. I thought it was a great love story that ended up being a good basketball movie.
Exactly.
And
And
I was surprised on this, Val. The one movie that was good about New Orleans, Hurricane Season. I was surprised that this Hurricane Season wasn't on this.
yeah, I know. I know. I wondered why it wasn't on there either. And of course, Above the Rim, that soundtrack is hot. Do you remember how Above the Rim would start? How, if you know, it's my pain.
But let me tell you
Um,
something.
let me
You just you
rock,
just
share it
you,
with me or
you
something.
you took it out of my mouth. Out of all these movies, it's got
Mm-hmm,
to be Above the Rim #1 with probably
mm-hmm,
Jesus Shuttleworth, and he got game next with that powerful Public Enemy. But that Above the Rim, like you said, Val, to
mm-hmm.
get Tupac at his best, at his
I know.
earliest, and in this
Early.
movie. And the theme was, it was so crazy because there was about 4 or 5 things going on in this movie that you had to kind of put together. You got Tupac that wanted to be a thug.
Mm-hmm.
You got Marlon Wayne who was trying to hang out with the thugs,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
you got Gina's husband, who's a man on the basketball court, but he didn't know if he wanted to play basketball or try to save his mama, right? His mama. got my boy Leon with the blowfly fro. Leon coming at his mama. He was a security guard, was a WhatsApp ball player, and then it all came together in the park one day in one bullet. And it could have went wrong.
Wow.
But instead of spinning it bad, they spun it good because he ended up being a ball player, then going on to play for who? None other than the famous John Thompson at
Mhm.
Georgetown University, and hits the shot while his mom and her boyfriend at the bar watching the game. So that was just dope. The only thing I ain't like about that part is why were
Mhm.
they at the game? I wouldn't have been in no bar watching as my son. I'd have been at
They
that
probably
game.
couldn't get tickets. They had her working like 3 or 4 jobs. So her character was working
Man,
like all these jobs. So I put
let
it
me
in
tell
the
you
chat.
something.
I put
Hey,
it
I called out sick that day. My head hurt. I'd have told you, fam. My head hurt.
You end up coming back without a job. But I've placed it in the chat that Above the Rim is Coach Tony's favorite b-ball movie. That's one of my favorite soundtracks that has
Love that sound. That soundtrack
basketball.
was ridiculous.
And then, of course, the Love and Basketball. Thank you so very much, Queen Robin, for having my back on that. She said it that Love and Basketball, and this was a hot soundtrack too. I,
That's
I wanna dance tonight.
all.
Okay,
I want to dance. So
yes, that
yeah,
was my
and
favorite.
what was so cool about the Love and Basketball, which is what I did like about that, it showed that a woman could have a career and a family. Uh,
Exactly.
she went halfway around the world. And the crazy part about, what's so crazy about that movie?
What?
What year was that? 90 what? 4, 5?
2000.
Oh,
It was
2000.
2000.
So
It was one of the first films for why am I not remembering her name? No, her name is right here. Gina Prince Brightwood. Yes.
okay. So you're talking about roughly a quarter century ago, right?
Mhm.
Roughly 24 years ago when that movie came out, 24, 25. And do
Mhm.
you know that we're still having the same conversation with the Brittany Grinders and the pro WNBA girls are still having to go overseas to make money? And the same
Mhm.
conversation? Is that amazing? While the
It
men in the NBA salary has gone through the roof, where LeBron James and these guys are setting record, they're making Michael Jordan type money now as rookies, making 15, 20, 25 mil a year. And where these women, the max contract is not even a half $1 million. And so they still having to go overseas to play during the summer break. So they, even when the season is over, they can't even enjoy their normal families because they still got to go play ball.
yeah. And I think that the introduction of and one of the colleges, I think Gina Prince went to USC, and so she had an
Yep,
in with shooting the film actually at USC on their campus.
that was nice.
And,
USC
and
and UCLA.
exactly, and who was this? Sanaa Lathan got
Sanaa Lathan.
into
Yep,
top shape to portray Monica. And
sure.
my favorite, Harry Lennox, who's based out of the Chicago area, and then Alfred Willard, a very young Regina Hall was in
Yep.
this as well, and a very unknown Boris Kojo. I think this was his first movie role ever.
Yes,
And
which
so
shocked me
yeah,
about it because after that, of course, he ended up on our favorite movie, Soul Food. But
exactly. Yeah, there you
uh,
go. The
but
series.
the series, right? Exactly. Then he went on to do some big things, and But yeah, Sanaya, I thought she played the movie great because she not only was in a nurturing situation in the end of the movie, but they tried to do something that normally didn't happen. Next door neighbors that were best friends for life end up connecting together, and they had been through so much heartache and pain, and then gave it a shot. And at the end of the movie, I was glad to see that Omar's career ended, but he supported his wife. She ended up being the one that playing pro ball when it was all said and done.
Exactly. And I forgot. Yeah, Gabrielle Union was also in the
Oh yeah,
film,
I forgot
also
about
Love and
Gabrielle was in
Basketball.
there. Yes. Oh man.
Exactly. And the funny thing is that a lot of uh, I love how Black Hollywood kind of works, which is fun, is that if you do well or if you vibe with the filmmakers or something there and you don't get that weird reputation of, oh, you're hard to work with or whatever happens, you keep coming back and the same characters just kind of come back around. So
Right.
Sanaa Lathan, I can name about 4 films that she's been in with Taye Diggs. Can you do
Yeah.
the same?
Ooh. It'd be tough for me. Love and Basketball. Everything she did.
It was now she's in Love and Basketball,
Oh
but
yeah,
Tay
she did.
Diggs is
Brown
Mhm.
Sugar.
Okay, so that's one. Okay.
She did Brown Sugar. She did. Oh my goodness. I see her. Oh, you got to help me out, Val. You got to help me out.
I love my little what do you call it? The films that folks have been in, and her father Stan Latham is
Stanley,
also a
yeah,
very and he's a famous
yeah,
director.
a comedian, right? He does it with the comedians.
Mhm. All those wonderful things with the comedians and stuff like that. So yeah, so I have to say, uh, I totally forgot about. Okay, so Brown Sugar is one of them. So I do know
That's one
that
of my best movies because what made you fall in love with hip hop, baby. That was the best question
exactly.
in the
Oh my
world.
gosh, that very first scene of Brown Sugar. I mean, it was like a documentary, and then at the very end of that little
And
documentary
you had
part.
Most Def in there. You had Most Def.
Oh my gosh, he was acting in there trying to hit on Queen Latifah. But let me get this out. Oh my gosh, my favorite part, you had all the actors talking, all of the rappers talking about what they loved about hip hop. And then toward the end, you have, oh gosh, Questlove. He talks about
Questlove.
hip hop and he says it was freedom. And then they
But
go right into the movie. And I can watch that. So if you could name the four films that Sanaa Lathan and Taye Diggs was in. So number one, you mentioned Brown Sugar.
yes.
Then there's Kevin Springer got me, the Best Man franchise.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
very first Best
Oh,
Man, the second
forgot
one that came
about
out in
that.
2014. But those
Yeah.
are the movies. That's just three movies. What is that very last film that Taye Diggs and Sanaa Lathan have been in? I'm asking the audience too, because this is fun to me. This is fun to
Yes.
me.
I totally forgot about the Best Man series. That was a crazy series. I love that one as well. Um,
So the
they
film,
they have not done an action movie. It's all been like comedies and kind of love stories.
right, exactly. So the film, it was I believe it was her very first film, and Taye Diggs, it was his first film, but they were in a section of California,
Really?
and that's the hood, the wood.
Yeah, the wood. The
She
wood.
was in the wood. So those are the
Uh,
four films that they were in.
I don't think
Because I
and
don't
the wood was the movie, baby. The wood.
about Inglewood in Cali. Like,
Inglewood.
oh my gosh.
Oh, hey, the best part about it was, hey, little homie, you like my sister, little homie? What's up? Hey, and by the way, let me get $5. You know,
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my good gracious. My gosh. We could talk about this all day, but my gosh, we'll be back next week. I am so excited. And I thank you so very much, Robin, for joining us and giving us a shout in the chat. Queen April, Queen Lakeisha, thank you so much for joining us as well. And like I said, we're back next week. We'll be chit-chatting. What? Please, I'll bring this up again. It is the Pull Up Podcast. It is every Monday
pull
at
up
8
on me.
a.m.,
Pull up.
8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. What were you going to say, Coach?
I just tell them like a jump shot, pull up on me.
So you want to make sure that you tune in next Monday for that. And of course, always exciting, always wonderful. I got a chance to write a book. I've been taking a little bit of a break off
Yeah.
of Clubhouse, but my goodness, we are wrapping things up. I started writing and it's finished. I did the last chapter last weekend. It's called A DJ Saved My Life. It is the new book. I want to thank Mr. Springer and a few others in the audience that have already purchased their ebook. It's being released on March 5th. And do you know we have a show on March 5th?
I know. And,
Woo!
and I told you, and for those that are listening, we're going to reverse the role because I'm going to interview Val the Voice on that night.
Oh my gosh.
As my boys, we're going to break it down. Let it be broke. We're going to break it down. So we're
And
gonna we're
please,
gonna talk about this book that night and let it be, bro. I gotta treat you like a superstar, sister.
oh, you're too funny. Thank you so very much, Mr. Springer, for placing that in the chat. And of course, if you'd like to join our Patreon area, our community, please do so. Join our community on Patreon today. That's patreon.com/interludes. And if you want to book time and be on the show, please do so. Thank you so much, Mr. Springer, for placing it in the chat. It is Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays with myself and Coach Tony. We'll be back next week. Oh my goodness, yes.
Hey, hey, don't meet us here, beat us here.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and it is Coach Tony. We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace.